Good news for the housing market in East Alabama, as more people are buying homes, but the cost of those homes is also rising.
Very warm temperatures today across East Alabama, and that warming trend is going to continue. The complete forecast details are coming up.
Coming up in sports, I'm in Huntsville as we continue to preview the AHSA North and South Regional Volleyball Tournaments. EAN Local News starts now.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Oxford Lumber. Come visit any of our locations in Oxford, Jacksonville, Talladega, and Roanoke.
Hello, we're glad you could join us. I'm Mike Stedham.
And I'm Katie Edwards.
Local home sales are up, but those figures differ from a statewide report for September. That report indicates that fewer homes are being sold compared to last year. The number of homes on the market is inching up, and an upward trend in housing prices continues month over month.
And so month to month, you may have dips that are not consistent with other parts of the country, but you're really looking at the long-term trends.
A report released last week by the National Association of Realtors shows that median house prices increased by 2.8% over 1 year ago to $394,300, and that home prices in the South increased 3.1% to $360,500. The numbers mark the third month of year-over-year increases in home prices. A report by Alabama Realtors reflects an anomaly in home prices across the state. The median home price in Alabama dipped by about $15,500 to $216,883 following 3 months of price increases. That's according to Jeremy Walker, CEO of the Alabama Association of Realtors. But home price trends are hyper-local, he said, and a realtor with the Joey Cruz team based in Anniston said that local home prices jumped in September.
Year over year, between 2022 and 2023, we're still up. Average sales price around 192 in this area, whereas last year is around 181, 182. So we're still seeing an uptick in value.
Home sales slid 2% in the United States during September and fell about 1% across the South last month. Meanwhile, in Alabama, home sales are down over 3,000 compared to last year. In September 2022, the state saw almost 6,000 home sales, and last month it saw just over 2,600. With fewer homes selling, inventory is up in all markets, national, regional, state, and local. And the number of unsold homes across the nation increased almost 3% from the month before. Low inventory is one factor that has been keeping home prices elevated since the pandemic, but even though the numbers are growing, consumers shouldn't expect home prices to drop right away. That's because inventory is still far behind what it was in 2019. Experts at all levels say the shifts in the market can be attributed to higher than usual interest rates, which impact home affordability and are determined by the Central Bank of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, so where we see this going, I think, is really going to depend on the activities of the Federal Reserve. If the Federal Reserve can signal that they're done with the aggressive rate hikes, we see the fundamentals of the market being extremely strong, and we see a lot of opportunity for buyers in the future.
When we come back, Heflin police have made more progress in another cold case murder file.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by WM Grocery, located in Heflin, Wadowee, Roanoke, and in Piedmont.
Heflin police have now identified a body in a wooded area of town back in 1990, and they have also zeroed in on a suspect in the homicide. The victim has been identified as Clara Kopp Reynolds, who was in her early 40s when she was reported missing by family members in the late 1980s. She was supposed to be traveling to Florida with a male friend, but she was never heard from again. A logging crew working off Evans Bridge Road in Heflin found human remains in February of 1990, and those have now been identified as Miss Reynolds. The DNA match was made by a private company, Orthram Labs, at the request of Heflin Police. Captain Scott Bonner said he decided to reopen the case 2 years ago after being contacted by retired Chief Deputy Tim Gossage, who worked the case back in 1990. The new investigation turned up the identity of the victim as well as other evidence and led police to identify a suspect whose name has not been released to the public. This is the second cold case homicide reopened this year by Heflin Police. In the first case, Louis Spivey was charged in June with the murders of Monica and Dalton Rollins, a mother and son who were found brutally stabbed to death in their mobile home in 2002.
When we come back, lots of spooky stuff is planned for this weekend.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Waldrop Manufacturing, metal buildings made right here in Calhoun County.
Halloween isn't just for children, it's also for witches and for pets. Main Street Oxford will have a witches ride and walk on Main Friday night, along with their annual Halloween Main program. The Witches Ride and Walk will have an in-person registration at 5 p.m. and it starts at 6 p.m. Tickets are $25 for adults and $10 for children. Meanwhile, Halloween on Main will also have in-person registration from 5 to 6 p.m. There's a fee of $10 to enter your pet in the dog costume contest. Check-in for the pet contest along with a photo booth will be at the gazebo downtown. Also, a screening of the 1993 movie Hocus Pocus will be held at the Oxford Performing Arts Center at 7 p.m.
If you like your ghost stories mixed with local history, the Haunted Jacksonville Walking Tour will be Friday at 8:30 p.m. starting at the Jacksonville Public Library. Local history experts will offer a free tour of Jacksonville's hair-raising history in the downtown district. This is a tour for ages 13 and up because the nature of the stories is a little more intense, a little more late night, and a lot more fun for teens and adults. Meet at the Jacksonville Public Library Annex for registration at 8:30 p.m. If the tour group fills up, you can register for the next tour or a later one. Tours last about an hour with 2 guides leading separate groups, and registration closes at midnight. The library will have hot cocoa and coffee before and after the tours. That's something I've always wanted to do. We always have football on Friday nights, but if they ever have that on a Saturday or Sunday, that seems like so much fun.
How late do the games last?
Well, it just depends on how much we throw the ball.
Oh, I got you. But I'm thinking that you ought to be through with football by midnight.
I certainly should be. Yes, I should. And the question is, what will the weather be like for those walking tours in Jacksonville? Jon Holder joins us now in the EAN Weather Center. Jon, tell us what it's looking like for the weekend.
Mike and Katie, the weekend is going to be like a June weekend instead of an October weekend. We're talking summertime temperatures headed to East Alabama. The complete weekend forecast is next.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
Temperatures on the rise today across East Alabama in the 80s. 81 for the high today after a morning low of 59. These temperatures right around 9 to 11 degrees above the average for this time of year. Getting fairly close to a record high temperature today. 88 for the record high, 27 for the low. 6:58 your sunrise tomorrow morning. Your sun setting tonight at 5:57. Weather on your street on a Thursday night. Let's take you out to Buggy Lane in Sacs. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Temperatures again in the upper 50s, 57 for the low out in Sacs. Going to be a beautiful night, perfect for any outdoor activities on your Thursday night. Friday coming up. Telling you folks, this is like springtime instead of fall across East Alabama. Above normal temperatures once again. We should wind up again 10 to 12 degrees above average tomorrow on Bradford Avenue in Hobson City. Total sunshine, no rain in the forecast. 83 for the high. A beautiful Friday coming up. And we talked about the weekend. That weekend forecast is spectacular. Summer weather for the most part. Baines Gap Road on McClellan. If you want to go look at the fall foliage, it's beautiful out there, but it's not going to feel like fall. No sirree, Bob. Mid-80s out there. We're looking at temperatures 84 to 86 for the highs on both Saturday and Sunday. Going to be a beautiful time. Don't put up the shorts and t-shirts and flip-flops just yet. 7-day forecast. No rain in the forecast. That's another big story as well. And those temperatures, again, way above the average for this time of year, about 12 to 14 degrees above the average. 83 for the high on Friday. Looks like Saturday will be the warmest day, 85 degrees. That's middle of June weather here in Alabama. 84 on Sunday. We do have a cold front that's coming. This will move through during the afternoon hours on Monday. Before the cold front gets here, we're still going to have another warm day with above average temperatures with a high at 76. Behind that cold front, get ready because temperatures are going to be vastly different for the back half of next week. We're looking at highs in the 60s on Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday of next week, highs only in the 50s. The highs next week are going to equal our lows this week across East Alabama. And we got some 30s coming. By Wednesday morning, we could be seeing maybe our first frost of the year coming up across East Alabama. But the one thing we're missing is rainfall. Here's the latest drought monitor. This is a weekly drought monitor put out by the federal government. And let me tell you, folks, we've been monitoring this. We've been telling you that the abnormally dry conditions eventually here in East Alabama without rain would turn into a drought. And that's where we are. We now have a moderate drought for just about all of Calhoun County, most of Cleburne County, still a slice of Cleburne County, officially in abnormally dry conditions. But as you can see, we've got a severe drought. That is right on our doorstep. As a matter of fact, the very northwestern portions of Calhoun County, extreme drought. We've got that coming. So get ready. You see these reds and the oranges, those are going to expand. We don't have any rain in the forecast, so we expect this map to be even more colorful next week. And that, folks, is not a good thing at this time of year. I'll be back here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for EAN Local Weather. We'll have your complete breakfast and morning forecast. And, of course, join us right back here tomorrow evening for EAN Local News. I'll have the complete weather forecast for all of East Alabama. But now it's sports time. Namath Pitts is standing by with all the news from all the teams here in East Alabama in the regional volleyball.
Thanks, John. The AHSA Volleyball Regional tournaments continue today in Huntsville and Montgomery. I'm in Huntsville, Alabama, covering the AHSA North Regional. Let's get right into things. Let's look at the recap from yesterday. Let's start in Class 6A. Calhoun County runner-up Oxford earned a return trip to Birmingham next week after getting there for the first time since 2016, just a year ago. The Oxford Yellow Jackets beat Muscle Shoals yesterday in 4 sets and beat Gardendale in 3 sets, sweeping their final day. They are set to play Mountain Brook today before preparing for a placement game, which could be the championship or could be for 3rd and 4th place. In Class 5A, the Alexandria Valley Cubs, who are predicted by many to be the last team standing in Class 5A, they reached 50 wins on the season after beating Hayden in 3 sets and then beating Madison Academy in 3 sets. The Valley Cubs are set to play AP Brewer today before determining their placement match, which could be a championship game or a 3rd and 4th place seeding game. In Class 3A, down in Montgomery, it was the Walter Wellborn Panthers. They started the day against Alabama Christian, which is a private school, but it was our local public school that prevailed in 4 sets. Then they played the Ashford Yellow Jackets, winning in 4 sets. Walter Wellborn advances to the state tournament for the first time since 2004. They are set to play Mobile Christian Leopards today in a placement game to determine whether or not they're in the championship or playing for 3rd and 4th seed. Walter Wellborn is the only one of 3 private schools right there. There's 3 private schools in the Class 3A South. Wellborn is the only public school. In Class 2A, the reigning 2A state champion Donahoe Falcons advanced by sweeping Holly Pond in 3 sets and then winning what was a thriller 5 sets against Lindsay Lane. The Falcons are set to play Sandrock today. The winners in the championship, the loser will play for 3rd and 4th place. The Pleasant Valley Raiders, they are predicted by many to win the 2A state championship this year. They started their day off very strong by sweeping Southeastern in 3 sets and sweeping Falkville in 3 sets. The Raiders are set to play Lexington today. The winners in the championship game, the loser will play in 3rd and 4th place. Yesterday, 5 Calhoun County teams clinched a spot in the state tournament next day. So far today, the Jacksonville Golden Eagles started the day strong. They swept Aniana in 3 sets. We talked with Amber Russell, the head coach of the Jacksonville Golden Eagles, to talk about her team's performance.
Hey, yeah, we played really well today. We actually came together and played together. That's one of the things we've been stressing all year, is big communication and playing together. And I asked them all week. We had a game plan. We executed that game plan perfectly. They really showed me how tough they were today, and I was super proud of them.
The runner-up in that same area with the Jacksonville Golden Eagles was the White Plains Wildcats. White Plains had a little bit of a bittersweet ending to this season after falling in 3 sets to Good Hope. We caught up with Coach James Clendenin to talk about what he's going to remember most about this team, which was their resilience.
I've been really proud of this team. They've showed a lot of resilience throughout the season. You know, we had a couple middles that came up injured. Really, in the summer, we had one tear their ACL, which threw a kink and things. And then our other middle came up with a sprained ankle. It's been out for almost 2 months. You know, a lot of people probably would have counted us out in area. And the girls really found a way to fight at the end. We played Jacksonville. Unfortunately, you know, we lost the first 2 sets and found a way to fight and win the next 2, and then came up short in the 5th. But for the majority of the year, every time we played Jacksonville and we got behind, it was kind of, we started giving up, and that was the first time I really saw the fight. I also saw a lot of growth. We had some 9th graders come in, 10th graders come in, and really show up and show out a lot better than you would have expected from some of the younger players, and they really did a great job of just meshing in and doing the best they could in the circumstances. So I think moving forward, it really gives us an opportunity it gave us an opportunity to see what we had moving up and really get them some valuable playing time on a big stage, and seeing that they could or could not handle it, and they did a great job handling it.
Don't forget to come back tomorrow. We'll have more from the AHSA North Regional Volleyball Tournament. That's it for EA and Local Sports. Let's go back over to Mike and Katie.
Thanks for the update, Namath, and thank you for watching today.
You can find us here online every weekday on either Facebook or YouTube, and on our website, eastalabamanow.com. Just go to our video feed and watch us whenever it's convenient for you.
And we'll see you back here Friday for your news on your schedule.